So I want to talk about, and me personally, I take a little bit of pride in telling people this story. Um,
I'm afraid what you're
just,
going to
just
say.
because just because you're my mom, just because you're my mom, I
Hmm.
take pride in like telling people the story and being like, yeah, that's my mom. That's what she did. Um, and I only tell people, I guess, just the Cliff Notes version. Um, but 2018, you won Detective of the Year for an amazing case, and Uh, we're not going to say anybody's names, but um, I do want you to kind of walk me through that case a little bit and um, just kind of share um, how that also, I guess, again, tying it all back here, how that affected you and I guess your sense of purpose, really.
It was a case that came to fruition because there was a boy who'd run away. Parents had called him in as a runaway. Our officers found him,
Where?
and it was raining, so they found him soaking wet. He had a stolen backpack with him, and inside the backpack was some food. So they took him to the police department. I went and talked to him. He was 14 years old, and he was probably this tall. And he had this stolen backpack. It was full of food because his parents were starving him to death. So he's at Kroger, and the management knew and had seen him in there
So that
before.
so they had seen him before.
They'd seen him before.
Did they like tell him like never come back or something,
They
or
ignored it
they ignored? Okay.
because he was so visibly malnourished. So they knew.
Mm.
So he's a kid. So I mean, his food was like, Pop Tarts. So like garbage food,
Yeah.
but he was a kid.
But I
So
mean, whenever you're that malnourished, anything is really just nourishment
well,
at that
sure.
point.
You're a kid. What do you want? A Pop Tart,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he had stolen a bunch of food. So I talked to him about all of that, and he talked about being hungry. Um, I had asked officers to say, "Hey, run to McDonald's, get this kid some food." So they'd gone to McDonald's, got him some food, and so during the course of our conversation, he was telling me how his parents did not feed him.
Mm.
Um, his parents ended up showing up at the police department because they realized we had him. And while I was talking to him, I made a decision. This kid's not going home with these people.
Oh,
He
so you made the decision right then and there.
well, in talking to him and just visibly,
Yeah.
he's 14 years old. He should have been
Did he
several inches taller.
did he tell you that his parents were starving him, or was it like we have to wrap around this conversation to get to that point?
Well, we talked, and during the course of the conversation, it was talking about the food. Well, see if his backpack full of food. Tell me about that. And so he was talking about how there's no food in the house. A lot of it was locked up.
So
I was
so
like,
it wasn't like a direct "my parents are starving me."
no,
It was enough evidence to you in your brain from what
he'd
he was
had
saying.
enough. He had enough.
Yeah.
He ran away. This is not the first time he ran away. He'd run away before. He was returned home. He ran away this time. And after I'm looking at him and thinking, this kid's 14, I thought he was 9 because that's how little he was. And I asked one of our crime scene people to take pictures of him. I asked him if he'd mind taking off his shirt, so he took off his shirt. I mean, he's skeletal. So it was horrible.
Mm.
So the officers went and brought him some McDonald's. And for as neglected as this child was, he's very respectful, very polite. Never had any kind of an attitude, which you would think would come with that, just being an angry young man. But he didn't display any of that. He was very respectful, very polite.
Hmm.
He was just a nice kid. And so we're talking, he's talking about all the stuff going on at home. I'd heard his parents were there. I left him to go talk to his mom. They told me about the dad. The dad he had 5 siblings, so a brother and 4 sisters. He was also starving the other brother, which we didn't know at the moment.
So there's 6 kids total, 2
6 kids,
boys, 4
4
girls,
girls.
and the 2 boys are being starved.
They're being starved. And like I said, we didn't know the other boy was being starved at the moment. So one of the officers was like, Dad wants you out here. And I said, I'm not coming out there right now. I'm talking to this boy. So Dad left. Mom showed up. And Mom was not leaving until she talked to me. So I went and saw her, left the boy, and went and saw her. And she said, well, I need to take him home. And I said, well, he's not going home right now. And she said, well, he's a thief. I said, he stole food. It's like he didn't walk into Walmart and try to walk out with a flat screen TV, or
Yeah.
an Xbox. He stole food.
Mm.
And she said, well, we have food at home. He eats nourishing meals. And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So she automatically hated me.
Yeah.
So she came in yelling and screaming, was like yelling and screaming and, calling me names. I'm thinking, well, we're done because I don't get paid enough to listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, we'll be in touch. So she's mad and, he's the son of Satan and whatever. And I was like, we're done. We're done.
Really? So she wasn't just bad mouthing you; she was bad mouthing him.
Oh, everything and everybody. Didn't like the police department, nothing. And, and you people never straighten him out. So blaming us for this, her failure to parent. So she's like, you guys never do anything. We call and nothing ever happens. I'm like, we're not doing this right now.
But the 4 daughters weren't being starved, though. It
No.
was just the boys.
Just the boys.
So was she showing, I guess, like favoritism to the girls?
Of course. Of course.
Gotcha.
So she leaves unsatisfied with anything I had to say, but I didn't care. And so one of the Department of Child Service workers got there, and I said, this kid's a mess. And so her supervisor went to the apartment to talk to the parents. She thought the parents were very appropriate. She said, well, these are great parents. This is what they're saying. He's a handful and a behavior problem. But she wasn't there looking at this boy.
She was only just hearing what the parents had to
Right.
say. Yeah.
And the parents have had police called on them before, so they knew what to say. So
they've had the police. They've had these conversations before, so they've been well rehearsed.
right, so they know what to say. They know what we're looking for. So the supervisor's like, well, we have to return him home. And I said, I am not sending this kid home. This is not happening.
Yeah.
So she was insistent, but again, she wasn't there. She was only getting half of it. Obviously, we're only getting one half of it too, right?
Right.
So somewhere in the middle is the truth. But we're seeing this starving, he was skeletal. So this is what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, well, my supervisor says we have to take him home. I said, I'm not comfortable doing that. This is not happening. So I said, you know what, let's take him to the hospital. So we took him down to Riley Hospital, had him checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, this child weighed 62 pounds
At 14?
at 14. He should weigh 50 pounds more.
Yeah, at least 90 or 100 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's not anywhere near it. They were doing other blood work and everything, and they're like, no, he's not going. He's staying here. All the electrolytes, all that stuff. Didn't have any of that. So blood work, fail. Urine test, fail. Any other testing they had done, x-rays, fail. So we're like, he's not going home. So I went to speak with the parents. So I had called them in, actually, called them in. This is what we're talking about. Well, where is he? And I said, he's not coming home. He's at the hospital. Oh, so while he's having a vacation at the hospital, yelling. I was like, I don't think he's on vacation. I don't think he's having a good time.
Yeah, that wording just kind of
You
irritated
guys all
me.
believe him. He's a child of Satan. He's a horrible kid. He steals.
Child of Satan.
He stole food. He stole food. And so the hospital was keeping him there.
Yeah.
So because he was there, we didn't know what was going on with the other children. We got search warrants to take all the kids to the hospital to be checked out. They kept the other boy because he was in dire straits, not as dire as the older brother, but he was in dire straits too. It's like, this is terrible. So we interviewed all of the children and got a search warrant, went to the home. And so we did the search warrant. While we were doing the search warrant, I was speaking with the parents. And, she was nasty. She was just nasty.
Where was Dad in the middle of all this?
He just sat there. So mom's obviously in charge.
Oh, so he just has no care in the world.
Well, he wasn't caring for his kids.
Yeah.
And she was ruling the roost. And if that works for some people, whatever. But in this particular aspect,
Yeah.
she was the puppeteer. So whatever she said, he parroted back to us. So she was obviously in control. She did not like these two boys. She was starving them. She argued, yes, we have healthy meals. This is what I feed these boys. But it's like, this is what you're telling me you're serving and providing for dinner, but looks are not deceiving. It's like, this child is malnourished.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of doctors saying malnourished, and they're holding on to him.
Mm-hmm.
That he stayed until the hospital until a foster family was selected for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so mom was, police don't do, they don't help, you guys aren't doing anything. He's on vacation, having a good time. You're all believing him. You guys are worthless.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. So it can't be everything for everybody. So we seized what we needed to seize from the home. And I would go to the hospital. Again, here I am, breaking boundaries. But I liked this boy. He was such a sweet kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to see him at the hospital a few times, just see how he was doing, and we talked. We kind of bonded a little bit. Since he was in a special part of the hospital, you had to have clearance to go, but the hospital staff knew who I was, knew I was there, so I was okay to go through. And then he told me that he was paired with a foster family, and so I was very worried about this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, who's he going to end up with? Some foster parents are in it for the money.
Yeah.
That's what they want. Some foster families are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful families, giving children another chance. So I thought, which one is he getting? So I was worried. And so I prayed and prayed and prayed about it. And I thought, what has happened to this young boy? Lord, I hope he's with the right family that will love him and encourage him and teach him how to be a man, all this kind of good stuff. And I was worried, again, just very prayerful. And then I went into church one morning. I was kind of earlier than usual. And I walk into church, and I see this boy with his back to me sitting in the very front row. Hair was wild. And I thought, he kind of looks like my kid. And I thought, no, that's not my kid. My kid wouldn't be here. I'm just fixated on my kid, so everybody must look like my kid.
Yeah, it's your mind playing.
Right. So I'm thinking it's not my kid.
Yeah.
So we're in church, and I'm just fixated now. I have to see what this kid looks like.
Yeah.
And so the boy turns his head, and I'm thinking, that's my kid. That is my kid. So I got up. Pastor was standing in front, and he must have noticed that I recognized. So he was coming up to say something.
This was in the middle of the sermon? Or?
No, I was in church before anything started.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at this boy, I was like, that's my kid. So I got up, I'm making a beeline. Pastor sees that I've put two and two together. He's coming up, and I was like, dude, no, I want to see this kid. So I went up to the kid, and he looks at me, and he's like, well, Nancy. And I was like, what are you doing here? And he said, well, my foster family is your pastor.
Yeah.
So I have a friend who likes to call that a God incident, not coincidence, it's a God incident. So here I was praying and worrying that this boy was not going to be placed with the right family.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wanted desperately for him. And he was there in church, my church, and I'm thinking, my brain is like going, what? This isn't possible.
Yeah. It's that.
And it was him, and he gave me a hug, and I gave him a hug. So I got to see him every Sunday for quite a while.
Yeah. It was that spiritual comprehension that you just can't comprehend.
Right. Yeah. And so after a month when he's in foster care, I saw him again, and he'd gained several pounds. He'd sprouted in height, and
wow.
He was healthy. And
yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't try to force myself on him. I didn't want him to be embarrassed, because I was like, oh, all the time. So boundaries.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got boundaries, I got boundaries. So, but he would come up to me and say, Nancy, I'm glad to see you. So after I saw him that initial time, I would just wait and let him come to me if he wanted. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
force myself into
Sure.
anything. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was powerful.
Wow. Yeah.